Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to be with you here in Berlin. Maybe we could just kick off with a very brief introduction to the series. For people who don't know anything about it, what can they expect when they watch The Good Mothers? Who wants to start?
Go on, Julian, you can start this one.
It's a story of a group of women from Calabria who defy the 'Ndrangheta, who are the Calabrian mafia that nobody knows much about, especially outside Italy, but they're one of the most richest and most powerful criminal organisations in the world, and they have a pretty horrific patriarchal structure, so that and our story really tackles looks at a prosecutor who looked at a new way to try and prosecute them by targeting the women who may well feel uncomfortable in that situation and wanting to look for a future for their sons and daughters, really, and not end up in prison or as part of a criminal organisation. And we focus on sort of 3 or 4 women who were sort of emblematic of that story.
And of course, there's been no shortage of film and TV shows, about the mafia, about crime families, but they've often been from the male perspective and, treaded that line between perhaps even glorifying the violence or further embedding sort of misogynistic points of view. What was the motivation to kind of flip that lens and, really tell this story from the women's perspective and give a voice to these people who've not been able to tell their story before?
Well, for that reason, exactly. It is for us to hear those women's voices, and also to show how dark it is. There's no glory. There's no honour. These are sort of the myths that the mafia carry forward, really. But the reality of it is it's a really grim and oppressive society, if you like. And the women's voices haven't been heard at all. And also it enabled us to tell a story very much from a human approach, rather than having, stories of cocaine and shootings and this, that and the other. And, we could very much approach it from the family unit. And at the core of these family units are the mothers and the grandmothers and the sisters and the aunties. And these are the quiet people who we overlook in most mafia shows, but they are there. And it's understanding their lives, their point of view, and in our story, how they wish to escape. And our women are all very different, and they all escape, for quite different reasons. Jessica being one of the characters, it's almost by, she would never have chosen to move away, even though she was unhappy. She was making the best of her life, and then events kind of overtook her. So she had to choose the best way forward, and the best way forward was to cooperate with the police. So it's trying to give the insight into the women's lives, which is, as you say, in other mafia shows, you just do not see.
And you've got such an incredible cast, all these amazing actresses, right at the centre of the story. How did you choose them, and how did you work with them, I guess, to bring such authenticity to the story and these really fully rounded characters, that, of course, based on real people?
Well, I think we are all very grateful to our actresses, because they made really a specific job on their characters, because they felt the responsibility. They were playing the role of a real human being, and often this human being, they were they were fighting against violence inside their families, so they were living in very oppressive situations, and it was very difficult. So they are all very different, the characters and the actresses. Of course, I knew them before, because I worked with them before, so I knew them personally. They really wanted to work with Julian. They were very happy to work with Julian too, and especially Micaela Ramazzotti. She's an actress that I think she definitely goes for the heart in every situation. So she's very instinctive, but she's very good, and she's always listening to us. She was listening to Julian, she was listening to me, and we were trying to give a soul to Lea's character, because we needed her to be vulnerable, but at the same time empathic, and at the same time brave. So this complexity of the character. I think that Michaela was definitely very good in doing this. And Valentina, she was great in the role of Giuseppina Pesce, that is a completely different character because she has a sort of little space and autonomy inside the family, so she has a little power and she's really working with this man, but she's also kind of breaking the rules of the family from time to time that are rules based on male power. So I think that Valentina gave a special strength to Giuseppina Pesce. She was learning so much the Calabrian dialect because these women, they were speaking Calabrian. That's almost another language. So I think they made an amazing job.
I'm almost out of time, but maybe we could just say a few words as well about the importance for you guys have been having the series here at the Berlin Film Festival, and perhaps it's symptomatic of the way that TV has evolved now, and it can sit alongside film. It's obviously its own medium, and how the streaming platforms perhaps have opened things up, and an Italian language series which will go around the world, and you can tell stories in a more authentic way than if you're always trying to sort of Hollywoodize everything.
Yeah, I think it was very important with this that it felt authentic, and we spent a lot of time in the world of Calabria seeking out these mountain villages and all the rest of it from where they come. But the story is so extraordinary and so powerful. It's sort of I think it will speak to a very sort of wide European audience and world audience, hopefully. And I think it'll be an eye-opener for people to realise that this criminal organisation here is so powerful, and that these women are subjected to it, really. Yeah.
I think I'm out of time, but thank you so much for sharing that with us, and can't wait for everyone else to see The Good Mothers. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.